Wait, I was dying at breakfast the other day when Shada was like, Summer, like literally don't even worry about it. All the guys just ask, who is my big tittied blonde friend? And I'm like, what did they say about me? And you go, not us, girl. We don't have the boobs to be getting comments like that.
In my time, I need these comments.
Yep.
And that's why Shark Christian Fasari, we're asking for $100K for 3 boob jobs. The investment in this could be astronomical.
I'll unbutton one.
Yeah. Imagine, could you guys CGI boobs on us for one episode so we could see the return on views?
Yeah.
Yes,
We're trying to pitch an investment for all of us to get boob jobs to Shada's dad.
Yes. We can do
It's
that.
not going to work at all.
Fat
but it would be
transfers.
fat transfers.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
If they could take it from my arm.
Dr. Fang said she can sculpt a great arm.
Sculpt me, Dr. Fang.
Sculpt me.
Welcome back to the And Also podcast with your hosts, me, Summer Dean, Shada Fasari, and Madeline Guiney. So grab a drink and get cozy. You have now entered the group chat.
Welcome back to the And Also podcast. We're so happy to have you here. Today we are talking about dating apps. If you're single, you're probably on a dating app. What do we got? We got Bumble, we got Hinge, we got Tinder. What else we got? Raya, The League.
We have there's so many.
Raise your hand in this group if you are currently on a dating app.
Raise your hand if you've ever been
There are
personally,
more people in the room with their hands up other than me, just for the record.
personally victimized by a dating app. Thank you. All right. Now that we have full participation. I feel like the landscape of online dating is so interesting and like it could be studied for years to come because it is just truly changed, I think, society in general.
It's a completely new landscape. It's a completely new ball ground.
Ball game. A ball ground. The ball ground has changed.
The ball
New
ground.
ball ground.
Well, everything's changed. All our parents met at a bar, and we're on Raya telling them about the top 3 reasons why we're interesting.
Real quick, where did your parents meet? Go.
Outside their dorm.
Oh. Michigan?
No.
Where'd your parents meet?
At a bar.
At a bar?
At a bar.
Okay, my parents met at the gym.
Oh.
How healthy.
Yeah. Okay.
God.
Yeah.
I hate to see it.
Yeah.
Huh? Why are you two looking at me? I hate them, actually. I really hate them. I really, really do.
Okay, so in y'all's dating experience as of late, where do you meet the most eligible people? I guess not you, but we can talk about recently.
Well, I feel like in general, meeting people out is like a dime a dozen. Like nobody's meeting. There are like a handful of people. I always say Carmen's a good example. My roommate from college, freshman year, met her husband literally like at a coffee shop. She was writing and he approached her and was just like, hello. And like that never happens. That is literally from a movie.
Only in the books.
And Carmen, like meeting someone at a gym. Like I feel like that is the exception to the rule at this point rather than like what the standard is. Everyone's meeting online. Like I remember my oldest brother met his wife on Tinder, which like now I feel like I don't even know people that are on Tinder, but they met on Tinder and everyone was like, that's crazy. You guys met online. Like that's wild. Okay. And now it seems like par for the course. Everyone meets online.
Yeah.
And it feels, I don't know. It's different.
I think statistically more people meet online than in person these days. And I don't know what that number is,
Well,
but I think
we pulled some statistics for today, and we pulled some statistics for today. And while more relationships are happening through dating apps, they are less likely to work out than if you meet organically. It's like a Harvard. It was. I think it was a Harvard study. I have to find it.
Like it's hard. It's so interesting. And even before the dating apps that we know now, there was literal websites that people could go on. Like my cousin,
Match.com.
My cousin met her
Christian Mingle.
husband. They have 4 kids.
No.
Yeah, they met online.
On literally the World Wide Web, not an app.
It was a dating website.
But a website. That's what I'm saying. They weren't on their phone, like downloading. They were literally like creating a profile on the internet.
And it was, I feel like that almost was more matchmaker-y. Like it was, I feel like something about that. Maybe there was just less people on it. So the people that were on it had something.
Well, I think it was less about like, I think the hookup culture has infiltrated dating apps, right? Like
we should definitely get into that.
There are a lot of people that are on there that are not interested in actually dating. They're interested in having someone come over that night or be there for the weekend, or like a lot of times, especially because we're in Nashville, I will be on Hinge, like looking to go meet someone or, you know, go on a date and finally find my husband. And it's like, I'll swipe right on a guy and he's like, oh, just here for the next 3 days. What do you want to show me around town? And I'm like, what?
No, Jimmy, shut up.
Get off here.
I think Nashville, unfortunately, has a little bit of a harder landscape for dating just because it is so transient. People are here for 1 weekend, 2 weekends. They're here for 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is. People aren't as serious about finding a partner. And I think that can make it really, really hard to date. And I think especially on those dating apps where you can set your location here and then be somewhere else the next weekend is really hard.
I feel like that truly is such a benefit to, like, unfortunately, the men in our community where, like, they don't have to pick, like, they don't have to settle down ever because they have literally a new batch of girls to pick from every single weekend. And not that girls aren't doing that either, but I think more likely than not, girls are on the apps, like, trying to find someone. And I think men benefit from the fact of like living here, that literally every new weekend they're getting new people coming in that are just here for a couple nights and can kind of explore those temporary options. Rather than having to like, okay, I live in this suburb, I have 50 girls to pick from. Who is my like, who am I actually going to be interested in? And it pushes them to be more serious about their options rather than here. It's like they could do this for years and have no repercussions.
They could do it for forever.
Well, that begs the question, are people actually using these apps to date, or is it just to fill the void? Is it just for entertainment? Like, what are these apps even, what's the purpose that these apps are serving in today's day and age?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's maybe a little bit different depending on the sex, like the gender of a person. And I think that unfortunately women are looking for connection, and men, and I'm speaking more about straight men because I'm not in the space to speak on anyone else's business, but straight men, I'm dealing with men who just want to, like, for instance, if you're on Raya, which is like supposed to be the more exclusive dating app, which it's just as lame as all the other ones. You get they'll say just the check mark, which means they're just looking for friends, but it's like, okay, well then you're not going to bang your friend. So what are we doing? But that's that's their sign to be like, I would like a sexual relationship and not an emotional one. And it's so annoying. On principle, even if they look like the most beautiful person in the world, I'm like, like, this is a no. This is a no, because I'm not on here for friends. I'm on here. I have many friends. I'm good with my friends. I had like a husband, and you are not going to send me the check mark. It's so rude, actually. I hate that.
I feel like a lot of times it's for validation, and I'm guilty of it. Like there is a good feeling of like going through your likes or whatever and being like, all these hot people like me. Like, you know what I mean? I think there is a like validation aspect to it that can be in some senses like a short-term fulfillment that you get from like getting matches or whatever from people that you might be interested in. Attention. Yeah, exactly. But it's not fulfilling in the sense that you're actually, and that's the issue. It's like no one's following through. You can like someone, have a conversation with someone, make plans, and then literally never talk to them again. And it's like, there's no consequences.
It's a dopamine hit. It's literally like, how many likes am I getting? How much attention am I getting? And that's like that's not the point of dating when you're dating to find a partner.
And I feel like it's pushed this cycle of like looking for the next best thing. Like I know Shada talked about, I don't know if it was like last episode or the episode before, but like some guy had gone on a really amazing date with a girl and then came home.
The podcast.
Yeah, came home and like literally immediately got back on the apps and was like, what else is out there? And it's like the exposure of like, we're exposed to too many people at this point. Like we have too much like reach with good looking people of like you could just have anyone at the tip of your finger.
It goes back to, you know, what I got in trouble for, which is like the access, like the phone, the thing in your hand being the access to the whole world. And it can be access to having a whole other family down the street, or you know, I always listen to this this radio show that pops up on my TikTok all the time. It's Brooke and Jubal in the morning, and they always do like these second date update phone calls and Dirty Work Wednesday phone calls, which are my favorite to listen to. And the second date update is really fun and sometimes ends up cute because it's like, oh, I went on this amazing date and I want to go back out on this date with this guy and I'm trying to get a hold of him and he won't call me back. So they'll like call and be like, hey,
I
like,
love those.
Tell us why you're not calling her back or whatever.
Oh, fun.
But the Dirty Work Wednesday one, I listened to one the other day that this guy who travels for work, he was living with 4 different women. He was living with a woman in Arizona, a woman in Boston, a woman in California, and a woman somewhere else. One of them he was married to and had been for 5 years. The other one he had been in a relationship for 4 years. The other 2 he'd met just about the last year.
How do you live with yourself though?
And he had been managing all of that. And I'm like, I'm sorry. That's why, to me, I'm like, if you're somebody who is like, I keep all of my phone close to my chest, my iPhone, my iCloud, all these things are my private space. I'm like, okay, you're up to something messy. You're up to something messy.
How do they have the time in the day?
How do you have the time of day? How are you not exhausted? How do you not like say the wrong name in an intimate situation? Like, how is there not a moment where you're just like, or like even when you're spending your week with your 5-year wife, how are you not like at night FaceTiming your 3-year girlfriend? Like how, you know what I mean? Because if my man's on a trip, I'd be FaceTiming and be like, hey babe, like tell me about your day. Like, what'd you do? What are you doing? I miss you. Hi. Here's
That's
a
crazy.
cute pic. I was thinking
I
about
just
you.
read this Reddit and it was this girl that she's been talking to this guy for 1 month. And he said that he wasn't going to be able to access his phone for 1 week because he was going on a trip with his sister. And actually, you know what? This was on Alex Earl's podcast. Somebody wrote in and was like, what would you do? The guy that I'm talking to recently is going on a trip with his sister. And he preemptively told me he's not going to be able to talk to me for 1 week.
No. That's a lie.
That's fake.
Where in the world?
Unless it's like a wellness thing in Costa Rica where you're like phones off DND. Like
I'm going to a monk sanctuary and I'm taking a vow of silence for a week.
Where are you that you're going somewhere and you can't, especially like if you're 1 month in, you should be like excited to talk to the person.
I've been all over the place, and the only place I couldn't get cell service was on my trek to Mount Everest. And so if you're going to tell me that you can't contact me for a week because you're with your sister,
that's weird.
Don't play with me because I will pull up to your little bungalow and ask about how long you two have been related.
Yeah.
Liar.
I think going back to the swiping and having options and just feeling like there's something better, there is this fallacy where it's like if you have too many options as humans, you start to feel like you're missing out on something. Like you ever go to a restaurant, you ever go to Cheesecake Factory, okay? Their menu is a freaking Bible. It is massive, okay? You've got 25 different pastas, 25 different burgers, 25 different salads. There are almost too many options. And if you go there hungry, you are going to feel like what do I want to eat tonight?
Yeah.
What is going to make me the happiest? And I kind of feel that way with dating where it's like, if you have too many options, you are going to at some point go, well, what if I had this? And I almost feel like, you know, we look at other generations where maybe the divorce rate for a complex variety of reasons was a lot lower, but they also just had a lot less options. But you were just happy with the options that you were given, you know? Like you weren't out there going, I'm looking for XYZ. You were kind of like, I'm so happy with XYZ.
I don't even know if it's I'm so happy with XYZ. I think that there wasn't like this idea of, well, XYZ just got hard, so now I'm going to go check out A through V. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. What is it? QRST?
You think it's having to do more so with when things get hard, people look elsewhere?
I think that people look elsewhere. I think that, you know, it's something like over 50% of affairs happen in the workplace. And it's like things get hard and then you start and it's because you guys are both working toward common goals and you guys spend a majority of your time together and whatever else. And you know, things at home get hard because all of a sudden you have a shared bank account and you have, you know, you have house payments to make and you have a child and your wife's gained 20 pounds because she just had a child and she's trying to feel good about herself and trying to get her old body back, and you don't know how to mitigate that, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And then
right?
Susie, the secretary, just flashes you a titty.
Yeah.
For an air fryer.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes people need things.
And we're just going to ignore that. But
If you know,
at the
you
end
know.
of the day, like they're now it's not just Susie the secretary, it's these secret dating apps. It's the phone that can get you anywhere you want in the whole wide world. And even down to the point of, what is the stupid website that people pay to be on?
OnlyFans?
Yes. Even then you're like having weird relationships online where you're like sending the girl $100 a week and having weird online conversations. And like, there's a plethora, like the plate just keeps getting bigger and bigger of like the buffet options. The buffet never ends almost. Whereas like back in the 90s, it was Susie the secretary and that's it. Or like, God forbid, like your wife's friend, unfortunately. That's where you were going. It wasn't, there are also 20 different apps to choose from, Susie the secretary, all these online things. Like it's like the options are just never ending. And you also don't feel the need at the same time to like stay in the marriage because I could just get divorced.
Well, even before marriage though, it's like, okay, you're on the dating scene. It's like, okay, I really like this guy and he hits 90% of what I'm looking for, but because you have so much access to so many other people, you're like, but this guy does this, or this person does that, this woman does this. And then you start going, well, why can't I also have that? So it's like, there's this access of, yes, it's great because maybe you do find the person that is like so aligned with what you are aligned with, like never before. You can look at people out of your hometown, you could look at people elsewhere, whatever. But at the same time, it makes it so much easier for the wandering eye.
I think like what you were just saying of a lot of times there are people that when it starts to get hard or whatever, they look at someone that meets 90% of the qualifications that they have for someone and they're like, but I don't know about that 10%. Like, is there someone out there that could meet 100? And it's like, no one is going to meet 100. Like, in my opinion, that is unrealistic. As long as the person you're with is willing to work towards like getting to the 100, or like, I mean, even 90% is an insane insane compatibility match right there. Like they meet 90% of what you want. The 10%, you're never going to find someone that closes that gap. And it just feels like everyone these days is like willing to throw away like someone that meets 90% in the just hopes of finding someone that meets the 100, which will literally never happen.
My mom always says it's an 80-20. Like if you have someone who meets 80% of your needs, like that's somebody to give a chance and pay attention to and hold on to. And I think what oftentimes ends up happening, like you said, is like you end up concentrating so much on that 20%. You then shift focus to someone who only has that 20%. And you give up that 80 for the 20. And then you wake up 3 months or 6 months down the road and you go, oh shit, what have I done? And that's always, we always have a saying in this friend group that is, they always come back, and they always do. I've never not had a man circle back around. And it's usually that they won't commit, and then I move on, or they do commit and they all of a sudden they feel like they need to go have this, that, and the other that I'm not willing to do and partake in. And they come back within 6 months and they're like, hey, I'd really like a do-over. But I think that is a plague of today, is that men especially are oftentimes half in, because there's the temptation aspect of like, I like this and I want to keep this, but I don't want to commit to this because I also want to try all the other flavors of the rainbow, sort of thing.
The one thing I will say is like, I do think, especially in dating, location is everything. And not to play devil's advocate here, but my little brother is a gem of a human, and he has like expressed such interest. He's like, I just want to like find my wife and I want to get married and I want to have kids. He goes,
obviously he's married.
Yeah. Mine's still looking. If anyone is out there, please. My little brother's amazing. But like he literally is like, I want to get married. I want to have a kid. Like all I want to do is like start a family and like live this next chapter of my life. And he's like, I can't find a girl that like wants to do that right now. And this is like a conversation I actually had through my mom. But what I was saying is like, where he lives in Massachusetts right now is like kind of a party town. It's like, it's really like a big college town. And he's like in a different phase of his life where he's like, I'm literally, my workday starts at 6:30. So like I'm working early hours. I'm not out late partying. Like that's just not the life I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to find someone that like I can start this next like phase with and like live a different lifestyle. And I think a lot of times you kind of have to remove yourself from maybe the location you're in and start in a different area that matches like the lifestyle that you're looking at. I'm like, you're not going to find a girl that wants to settle down in this fun party city sometimes. Like you might, but it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. And I think on our end, it's the same scenario where like we're looking for a solid guy that like wants to have a family and settle down in a party city where everyone's here just like to party and like meet the next hot girl. We're like, a hot girl here is a dime a dozen. Everyone is beautiful. Every girl is the prettiest girl you've ever seen. Everyone's so nice, so beautiful, like smart. And like there's 5 hot guys and maybe one of them is nice and maybe 2 of them actually want to be in a relationship. And there's 3 million girls all competing for the same guy. So I think sometimes it's really hard to realize like locationally where you're dating and where you're living can impact like your romantic life so hard. And that's a hard reality to face of like, I feel like, I don't know about you, but like I always joke like if Nick and I didn't work out, I could move home and like find a boyfriend within 10 minutes. Like I think I would go home and find like a man that like made me happy and met my goals and within 5 feet of where I live.
I think that's a really great point. And I think there's a lot of conversation about Nashville specifically, but I feel like there is a lot of, maybe it's cities in general. Cause I've heard in general, cities are just harder people are just out having fun. And I think there is, you find a younger crowd in cities typically. I think southern cities specifically, you're looking at like 25-year-olds getting married, 26-year-olds getting married. You go to New York and like that age is maybe 32, 33, 34. Like, you go to different areas and the status quo of where your relationship is, how young you are is completely different. I mean, and I'm sure if we went to the middle of Mississippi, maybe the average marriage age is something different. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, it's different goals and different lifestyles.
I mean, it's a different cultural thing. I think what's interesting is almost as a combatant to the city, like the epidemic of dating in a city is these apps coming out, or not the T app. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's like, I guess the #1 downloaded app right now. And then also Facebook groups like Are We Dating the Same Person, which is fascinating. I am in Are We Dating the Same Guy Nashville. I am in that group.
I'm in almost every major city. I love those groups. They're my pastime. Austin, Boston, LA. I love those groups.
Are you? And it was actually so funny because when I was seeing Jason, anytime Jason popped up on, and he did. He was a frequent flyer.
A frequent flyer.
He was a frequent flyer of Are We Dating the Same Guy Nashville. I would get a screenshot from Madeline. Madeline was DMing these women back, being like, tell me the tea, tell me what you know.
It got us in trouble a couple times.
Well, because unfortunately,
there are rats in those groups.
There are rats in those groups. And I do mean rats. If you're a woman in that group in any form, sharing information with a man, you're a rat. Take that. And
if I think about this all the time, if I saw, because I'm in every local page that could be close to the Boston area just to keep an eye out for anyone that might pop up that I know. But specifically for my little brother, I'm like, if someone posts about him, I will be on the phone with him so quick. Obviously would never name names, but I'm like, you need to get your act. This would not happen because he's an angel. But I would be so quick to be like,
get your shit together.
Get your shit together. If you're being posted about
and that's
negatively.
The right type of female response, by the way. Not to be like, ooh, guess what? Like, let me expose you. It'd be like, hey, what the hell have you done?
I would just like to say, to clarify this situation, someone posted anonymously about Jason, and I was like, let's dig deep into this. Let's pull some onion layers back. I messaged that girl, and because I commented, other people were reaching out to me that was like, because I said like, oh, I have info, message me. And so then people were reaching out to me. Rat reached out to me and I sent her what I knew. And she was only reaching out to pursue to like pass this information along to him.
To Jason.
Yeah, which is literally rat behavior.
Simultaneously, I was making a TikTok of the whole situation and blowing it the fuck up. And Jason did see it.
Well, what's bad is
sorry,
that
Jason.
Unfortunately, he was so notorious at the time that
People knew.
People just commented his name.
People on the TikTok
when she
knew.
anonymously was like, let me tell you the story about what my friend is going through. They knew that it was him because of how much trouble he gets himself into.
Yeah. So let's
bless
ask the
him.
question. Are the apps helping with dating or are they hurting?
I think
No,
it's
they're
making
hurting.
everything. We've all regressed. No one is meeting in public anymore. Everyone is too afraid to say anything. Like, I remember the amount of times I had matched with someone that like I knew through a friend of a friend or like knew of, and we would be out and about and this person would never approach me or like express any sort of interest, but it gives like a guy or a girl a screen to hide behind.
Yeah.
Where it's like they like use it to have access to you. Like, I'm never going to approach you. I'm never going to put myself out there. But it's like, oh, like we matched on Hinge. Like, let me like see what I can get out of this. And it's like, if you don't have the balls to come up and to talk to me or express any kind of interest in person, grow up. I do not want to be with you.
I would say like that, I think is the saddest part of the whole thing. Like, obviously like the cheating, the access to people is crazy, but I just wish people had the gusto to go up to people in person, even if it was just like, hey, I think you're really beautiful. Like people like don't like getting rejected in person anymore. And I feel like everybody needs to go through some like rejection therapy because it's not that bad. It's really not that bad.
No.
When someone tells you no, the worst thing they could do is tell you no. That's literally the worst thing. And I feel like
you're one step closer to getting a yes.
Exactly. And I wish, and I say this to men because I think traditionally men are the ones that pursue women, but I just wish men had a little bit more gusto to be like, I'm just going to put myself out there and go approach somebody knowing that it could be a yes or it could be a no.
The one thing I will say is I listened to a couple podcasts from this, like, I don't know if he's a dating coach or whatever, Matthew Hesse. He's like an Australian man or something. He does like a lot of like, girls, put yourself out there. But the art of giving the opportunity to a man to approach you, I will say, girls are intimidating, one, and it's also hard to be rejected. But
it's also hard to be rejected if you're wanting to speak to a girl in a group.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is like the way that we all go out now is we're going out with a big group of girls, and for a man to come up and be like, I want to single you out, I want to talk to you, I'm trying to express some sort of interest in you, is much more intimidating than like a little one-on-one situation. And what we've lost in the modern world is like the art of dropping the like handkerchief. Like, women used to be like, "Ah," you know what I mean? Like, it was drama, there was flair, come on. Well, but you were giving them an opportunity to like pursue you, of like, oh, it looks like you dropped this, and you open the door to conversation.
Now, I didn't drop a handkerchief, but the other weekend I did. I was at the pool at Soho House, and I was about 3 Aperol spritzes deep, and I was with a group of friends, and I had been like making flirty eye contact with a man who was also at the pool with his friend group, and I decided to go get drinks by myself. And the second I put myself away from my group of people, I mean, I turned around and this man was there. He was there, and he was like, hi, I'm
He's there.
And he was there. and he was so sweet and so fun, and our friend groups joined, and like I have nothing but positive things to say about him, and unfortunately he doesn't live here.
Boo.
I know, boo. So sad. But he was a complete blast. His friends were a blast.
Yeah.
And like that, I'm like, if I give you the opportunity where I'm by myself and you don't come over and introduce yourself, because I am of the mindset, if you can't come speak, I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to chase you. I understand men think it's hot. No. Be a man, pursue me, show me you have interest, intrigue. I don't want to wear the pants. And come say hi. I will single myself out. I'll put myself in the corner for 1 second and come introduce yourself. But I mean, you have to.
Well, I think there's nuance to that. I would like to say my caveat to that is.
Well, you have a shy boy.
And it seems like your gym crush is also shy.
Well, I've decided I'm not saying hi to him
Ginger
anymore.
juice.
So my, and you have your own opinion on it. My thought is like, I think there's caveats obviously to everything. But like scenarios in which you run into someone, if you're like putting yourself out there and in the scenario with Shada's gym crush, there's obviously an interest between both people. And I think a lot of times if you're running into maybe a man who doesn't think that you would have interest in them or is a little bit more shy, like I'm all about like also putting yourself out there. Like I'm going to be a little more bold in dropping the handkerchief. If it's something that I'm interested in, like I would rather put myself out there, find out if it's a yes or a no, or if they're willing to rise to the occasion, than play a cat and mouse for months on end and not get any resolution. Like just rip the fucking Band-Aid off. Like in that scenario where you're running into someone consistently and like there is a little bit of a like a build up, like I just want to get to the end of like what's happening here.
Okay, but you guys had like a work relationship. There was like a business.
Yeah, for sure. He was my personal trainer.
He was, yeah. There was like a lot there that caused some.
It was slutty.
It caused some boundaries that he really couldn't break ethically without maybe getting himself into trouble.
Yeah, he could. Come on.
No.
But I will say, in like, let's just say, removing the work dynamic of it, he was like, I never would have thought, like we were friendly obviously, and I obviously was interested in him. He was like, I never thought you would have been interested in me romantically. And he's like, I just thought it was friendly, like always. He's like, I was interested in you, but like I never thought that was something that was an option for me. And like if that's not, but wouldn't you rather know?
I guess, but at this point, if I'm not showing this man my titties, there's nothing else I can do to expose the fact that I'm interested in
Are you
him.
talking about ginger juice?
Yes.
This bitch is coy as fuck. So in my opinion, I don't think she's doing enough. I think you just say,
I
hey.
am at the gym with her. She's doing enough.
Oh.
I am like.
She's like so, like she's doing her like flittery little.
Okay, but wouldn't you rather just be like, are you going to ask me out? Like, okay, so what's the thought process on not, or like, are you going to ask for my number? Like, what's going on here?
I feel like you've gotten to that point recently, a little bit.
I did, and then we had our conversation recently where I was like, now I'm just over it.
Really?
Yeah. Because to me, you don't want me that much.
I feel like at his big age, he should be able to approach a woman and say, what's up?
He's 34. He
owns a home.
He's like the head of a department at a big company. Like, if he likes me, he should have the balls to ask me out. And if he doesn't,
maybe I'm just
then
not
he doesn't
seeing
like
you
me that much.
how forward you're being with your flirtation.
She's peeping.
I mean, we're talking 30-minute conversations at the gym. Like he's like missing his
hip
workout.
Popped out.
He's
talking
complimenting
about
her on her
marriage.
beautiful hair. He's like it's like very odd why he wouldn't ask for her.
Yes.
The only thing I can think of is like he's betrothed and he can't. But he's also being a fucking flirt at the gym, so something's fishy regardless. Which I don't like.
And then if I happen to ask this man if he wants to date me and he happens to tell me that he is dating a woman,
that woman is unfortunately.
She might be getting a hey girly DM, to be honest with you.
I would hope so. But yeah, I don't know.
Which to that point, I'm like, when we're almost close to like holding hands at the gym and you're not like, hey,
they're literally up at each other like, oh,
that is.
They might as well be making out.
And he's not just like, hey, like, what are you guys doing this weekend? Like, because it's like he's also now by proxy. He's seen me 100 times. He's seen me out. He knows I go out in East. He's friends with Summer. Like, it wouldn't be odd for him to be like, what are you guys doing this weekend? Like, your friends and my friends, like, let's exchange information. Like, it doesn't even have to be like overtly like, I want to take you on a date. Like, it would not take much bravery from him. Period.
Yeah, it's odd. That's an odd sitch.
And so now I'm mad. I'm just like, I'm over it now.
But I also do think
it's dead to me.
In this new modern age, I don't think that we should leave the full onus of reaching out to the man. As much as that's my preference.
Yeah.
It's definitely my preference. I think that there is, like, we talked about it on a podcast recently where the older woman that had a facelift came over to the guy and he thought she was younger, and he was so surprised that a younger woman was being so forward and like open and immediately going up and talk. There is some kind of confidence that you gain even older as you get to your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. You don't really care as much maybe. And I think maybe there is like this little note we can take from those women of like, why don't you just go say hi? Why don't you just approach the table? Why not? Because you also don't know what could happen.
Yeah, but I walk over to him every freaking
You do.
morning.
And this situation is different.
So now I'm like, ugh.
One thing I will say too is I think outside of the gym setting, outside of like maybe the bar setting, there are other places where like maybe there is some kind of meet cute, but you have to be
like at the park.
like at the park, at the oil. Okay, yeah, okay, at the park. So
at the park.
you guys, this morning I'm on my walk, okay? I'm on my walk on my trails that I go
Shayda
to.
could be engaged right now.
All right, here's the thing, you guys. I'm on this walk, okay? I'm getting my steps in. I'm on the phone with my mother. I'd like to like,
She was busy.
And you hang up.
okay, I should have, honestly, I should have. So I'm walking on this greenway, and all of a sudden 20 of the most fit people, probably like 15 guys, 5 women. I'm not going to discount the women. The women also had abs. There had to be 120 abs walking towards me. These people were gladiators. They were made of 99% muscle. There was nothing else to them. It was just like the biggest, most solid people you could ever imagine were walking towards me. And I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm just like, like she's asking me something. I'm like, what, and you said grandma did what? She did. Okay. And I'm just looking at them and like, I've never seen more fit people in my life. Okay. So they're a herd. They're walking towards me. They're doing some kind of photo shoot. I'm like, what the fuck are all these fit people doing in a gathering in such a place like this? Why are there so many fit people? So I pass them. And then there's like one straggler, okay? So I'm now one-on-one with this one straggler. And I go, what is this group?
Excuse me,
Yeah,
Sarah?
excuse me. What is this group you guys got going on here? And he's like, oh, he's got an accent. He's like, what are CrossFit Games? What are CrossFit Games? That's supposed to be Australian, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it wasn't clear.
It wasn't clear.
No,
that was
that was
more
ambiguous.
British. Where the CrossFit
Nope,
Go on with
guys?
your story, please. God.
And I said, okay. And then as he could hear me, I was still on speaker. I go, Mom, this is the fittest group of people I've ever seen. And the first thing I did was text Shayda, and I said, Shayda, get down to this park right now. You will meet your husband there. There was multiple 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" men. Again, the most solid men I've ever seen. And Shayda goes, I can't, I'm working.
No,
I go,
I'd like
go.
it. No, at this point, I'm going to take over.
Go.
At this point, I'm going to take over. It's 8:28 in the morning.
Oh, she has a chat pulled up.
I am in a double XL t-shirt that I think I stole from my brother. My hair, I have what's called a wolf cut. So in the mornings, it looks like a 1980s. I don't even know how to describe what's going on. And I get a text that says, Shayda, if you want to meet your husband, go to Cornelia Park right now. CrossFit Games athletes. Never seen so many large men and women, so many abs. And I said, what? That's all I said. I said, what? And she said, they just got there. Go, go, go. Go for a walk. And I said, Summer, I opened the effing store this AM. I'm so mad. Find out what gym they're from. Ask what they're doing so we know where to find them. And she just said, you must leave the store. Go, child.
The go child killed me.
Now, mind you, she's in the park. She already has a rapport with an Australian man. And all she had to do was ask one singular effing mother effing question. And that is, what gym do you guys go to? What gym do you go to? That's all you had to do. This is so fun. What gym do you go to?
This is
Have a great day. That's all you had to effing do. That's all you had to fucking do. Anyways, and I said, now in all caps, Summer, do something. I am effed. And she goes, 6'5", huge. Every
She
ab
was
showing.
taunting
So now
her.
she's being cruel. I said, Summer, this is bullying. Walk up and be curious like you always are. This is cruel. She said, already home. Walked by and swang my hips a little. And I just said, I can't wait to bring this up today.
Yeah.
Because this was an act of aggression. It was a microaggression on our friendship, actually. It was your cruelty and it was bullying.
Okay, well, I'd like to take a moment and say, if you were at the park this morning, you know who you are, and you are a CrossFit athlete, and you are doing some kind of photo shoot with a big group of people, slide in our DMs.
Yeah.
Just slide in our DMs.
Not Summer's, just mine.
Just the End Also podcast. We'll sort through. We'll make sure the message gets to the right place.
Yeah. I'm so mad.
But I do feel like my head is on a constant swivel. Unfortunately,
How many men have you asked for Shada?
I don't have the same type as Shada. So when I see
No, I mean for her though.
I know, but I'm saying when I see a hot guy, I'm like, I will say yesterday, Nick and I were at Goodwill and I saw a man in a parking lot. This man was maybe 56 years old, salt and pepper, hot man. And I go, that would be Shada's type in 20 years. But he had a ring on. And so I almost whipped the car around.
Obviously.
But my head is on a swivel. Unfortunately, like, I do have blinders on because I'm in a relationship. But when I see a guy that's like attractive, I'm like, Shada doesn't want this, like, this nerdy finance man, like, that I think is like a handsome looking guy. So,
But you don't see men that you think she would find attractive?
I don't see them a lot.
You're like, I
genuinely
don't see hot men.
I don't see those kinds of men anymore. Like, they're just not in my peripheral.
I actually don't have best friends. I have ops. Is what I've just realized.
No,
now
but
in my
Shada,
life.
I'm not joking.
It'd be so fucking simple to be like, and you know what? It's not even embarrassing for you because you're like, I'm happily in love. In fact, I might be pregnant right now. Who knows? Just from the joy that I have in my life. Are you so happen to be single? Because I have a friend who's lonely and alone and wants love so badly, and you
Shada,
just
if
you
I
just
saw them,
flaunt
if
around.
I saw them, I would ask. I don't see them.
How many men did you set us up with?
Yeah,
You
negative.
saw- First of all, you've been in a relationship for how many years? Half a decade? When was I going to do that?
When I was in my prime.
Yeah, when you were free and wanted nothing to do with anything other than your freedom.
I will say, if I saw a man, Shada, I'm genuinely saying this, I would say something. I have no embarrassment
Unlike
about it.
others.
Oh, we'll see.
Unlike others.
And I would as well. But I was embarrassed because there were so many of them. God, there was fucking 20 of them. I was outnumbered.
Shada,
I have yours and Sophia's Instagram queued up on my phone to be like, do you like this girl? Yes or no?
Lies. Shada,
Summer, I've asked them. I said, what photos would you like me to show to a man?
And how many men have you showed them to?
I haven't
Then
seen
it doesn't
any.
matter.
I haven't seen any.
I would have got you flowers. That's literally the same exact fucking thing. All I'm saying is if you were in that group, you would not have approached them because it was fucking intimidating because there was 120 abs. 120 abs.
I would have walked right up to one of those females.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yes, I would have.
Oh,
I
you
would
would
have
have?
said, I'm really interested in CrossFit. What gym do you guys go to? And then it would have been outside of that place.
And again, if you were at the park this morning, please slide in our DMs.
Our friendship is dependent on it. But I will say, I am looking. Maybe I'm not in the areas that men you like are out and about. I don't know.
Let's be honest. Shada does have a very eclectic type.
So specific.
She's got an ideal type, but she's also dated some outliers. So whoever you think you can approach, maybe you should.
All right.
So, and I'd love to see it.
Shada, bare minimum.
She's challenging you. Do you realize that?
I'm not joking. The only time I see hot men is when I'm driving in the car. So a lot of it feels really like I want to kidnap you when I'm like pulling over on the side of like Demumbre and being like, hey, excuse me. I promise it's not for me. I have a boyfriend.
Are you alone?
Do you have a girlfriend by chance?
So you just stop the car and you go, this is very, very funny.
Shada,
and
I know
odd.
how I would do it.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
Shada, would you do
Well,
it?
I'm just here if you need to role play this situation out because I need you to do
I
it.
would make Nick do it.
Yes. If I was happily, you guys know I go up to everyone and I'm abrupt and I'm abrasive. I would go right up and say, listen, I'm in love, but I have a very hot, big tittied blonde friend who needs a man. And are you interested? And then I'd pull up a photo. And then they'd say yes. And I'd say, perfect. Give me your information right now.
I'm just generally saying I'm not seeing a lot of men that are your type.
Thank you.
The only men I see.
I am saying I saw literally 10 men that could have been your husband this
And
morning.
that's why we're going to have to go on a
But
break.
also, they also might have been married. So I don't know. It's just intimidating.
This is so interesting about you because you usually are the girl who likes to do uncomfortable things. And you recently, she was supposed to go up and say something to Jim Bay, and she got too scared.
I'll do it tomorrow.
No, I don't want him now. He's dead to me.
All right, I'm going to do it tomorrow now because she said she doesn't want him now. It doesn't matter, so I'm going to do it tomorrow.
No, it doesn't matter. He can die. And you can't tomorrow because we have a group workout. Yeah, so you're a liar anyways. You always have
Wait,
been.
what time is it at?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. It was funny. I told Nick about that. I go, I'm working out with another trainer tomorrow. And it's a man.
And it's a man.
And he was like, he was confused because he goes, oh, he has a wife and he's sliding in Summer's DMs. Inappropriate. He was upset about that. Not upset, but he's like, I would never do that.
Listen, he's getting business though.
We're not paying him.
No, I know, but
Him business.
Okay, so also though, question.
Okay.
Where are people meeting people?
I literally, so this is what I will say. We went to LA Jackson's. And I do think
Mrs. Jackson's house?
at
Mr. Jackson's?
At like sunset. And I do think that there was a more open, like mingly vibe happening.
Okay, I would like to say, how many new people did you talk to?
We actually were with a whole group of new people that we met because I knew one of the people in the
guys.
group.
So it was through a person.
So we met 4 new men and it was because of one guy that we did know, but we mingled and had a fun time with like a table of girls that we didn't know and a table of guys that we didn't know. And then the night before I went back, I was also at LA Jackson's. I don't know why I was in LA Jackson weekend because I haven't been there since like COVID. And weirdly enough, I had a bunch of friends who were there, but they were all with people I didn't know as well. So I was still like meeting new people. So I feel like, and it was an earlier time. So I feel like for us, we should be going to like rooftops and like more, not professional settings, but like less.
I feel like I'm a big proponent of people need to be having more house parties, more dinner parties. I don't want to go to a bar and meet someone because that is like, there's so many opportunities to not interact in a like actual productive manner. And there's just too many options. I think you bitches with homes need to be hosting more and having people over, inviting people from different walks of life. And
well,
that's what I'll say. I said, I think we need to be commingling.
Yeah.
You know what we should do is host a dinner party, or someone should host a dinner party. I'm not volunteering myself quite yet. But it's like you invite a group of people, but they all have to bring one person that nobody else knows.
Guys, that's
You
my
were supposed to do it.
It's my trader's party. I know.
Why haven't you done it?
Because I'm unemployed now and I quit my job and I had to move and
Sounds like a lot of excuses. You have a bigger place now. Let's do it.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
The other thing I think is we do meet people at the gym. Like we have a small horde of men
That follow us around and wait for us to
who
arrive.
have introduced themselves to us at the gym and said hi and like been brave, which is wonderful. Do you know what I mean?
You're so brave.
Yeah, so brave.
Well, at this point,
One thing I will say is I think when you're out and about, and I definitely I'm guilty of this, is you have to get your face out of your phone. Like I was even thinking about you go get your oil change, you go get your car, you're sitting in the waiting room. It's like you can't just be like this the whole time, because then like it signals to everybody else that you're just like not like I almost feel like you just have to be like almost like looking around to like maybe you catch a glance and you say, oh, like what are you in for? Like whatever, you know what I mean? What's the damage?
my friend Tia is dating. Like she is going on dates. Like I want to
love
say
Tia.
like once a week she is on a date.
I would date Tia.
Well, everyone would date Tia.
She's cool.
She's so cool and so pretty and
She
interesting.
forages
and
mushrooms
unique.
in the forest.
She is just she is just the coolest person. I love Tia.
Shout out Tia.
Shout out to you.
But I do think that there is an art to being approachable. It comes along with like the handkerchief thing. But it's just like even social cues. Like I think for a long time at previous jobs, I was always glued to my phone. And one of my favorite things is like being in an elevator and not being on my phone and just observing and like trying to like, I love a like witty little banter in an elevator. That's my favorite thing. It brings me such joy because you never know, like sometimes someone doesn't get the joke that you just made and they're just like and it's awkward and I love that, like, but sometimes it hits and you're just like, wow, life is worth living again. This person got my joke and we just had a little moment in the elevator.
Improv. You have to be quick with it. Like somebody
Life
says
is worth
something
living.
and you're like, you have to analyze it and like say something back, and you're really good at that. You're really good at like getting it in quick and saying something back that like makes sense.
But again, nothing hits more than when they don't get it and they're just like
and then you're over there like, what the fuck?
yeah.
there's the girl who's the face of Millionaire Matchmaker. She's like everything. She's the face.
Patty.
It is.
She's psychic now. Did you see her on what's her face's podcast, Kristen Cavallari's?
I don't think she said she's psychic.
I literally she's psychic now.
What the fuck does that mean?
Patty, the Millionaire Matchmaker.
Yes,
is psychic.
I love her. She had a TV show that I used to watch, and she said actually on that podcast, she said you always should have a pair and a spare.
Ooh, what's that?
And that's like dating. She's like, you should have at least 3 in the roster. And she's like, it's one.
A pair and a spare.
A pair and a spare. And it's one that's like you go and do fun things with, that like is younger maybe, or just really cute, or like just fun to hang around, but is never going to be like the person for you. And then the other guy is one that's maybe really interested in you, but like is maybe missing some crucial things, but is going to take you out and really try to court you. And then you have the one guy you're like, he is everything. He's perfect. I want him. But maybe he feels like, like it's not like quite there yet. And so you have the other ones that are entertaining and keeping your time while you're.
I listened to a podcast forever ago, and it was talking about a similar kind of thought process where you have to be spreading your eggs out because it forces you to not be so hyper focused on one person, and it allows you to be more, not that you want to be nonchalant about your dating, like you want to be purposeful and like intentional with what you're doing. But I think a lot of times when you are in a like really, I want to be in a relationship, the first person that pops up that kind of meets like a couple boxes, you hyper focus on them. And if they're not interested, it's devastating. You're constantly waiting for them to text you. Like you are so hyper focused on that one person that when it doesn't work out, it's devastating. When in reality, it is good. Like the options are good to have, whether or not you're like super interested in them or not. It just gives you like the flexibility of I'm not putting all of my focus onto this one person, even though like I am really interested in them. Having these other options allows you to be more relaxed. Like, okay, if option number 1 isn't available, like I have 2 other people that would like to take me out on Friday, and like I'm not going to be devastated because he didn't ask me out. It allows you to be more I think like emotionally removed from the dating process, where you're like, okay, I'm looking at them like factually, like who is treating me the best, rather than like it's this person or nothing.
And then you're not also like starved for attention, right? Like you're getting something from a couple different places. And it's not to say you're sleeping with all 3 of them or anything like that. It's just that like you have multiple dates in a week or multiple people that you're speaking to. So you're finding things out about yourself and finding things out about them at the same time, like what I'm interested in, what I don't like, how I'm being treated by this one versus that one, like that sort of thing is. And you know what, like, I had dinner at Sophia's Aunt Nancy's the other day, and she always talks about dating in her day and age, and like she was like, you always, like Friday, Saturday, you always had a date. Like, and it was a different guy. And sometimes the week before, like your best friend had gone out with that guy and now he's going out with you. And like, but it wasn't like, everyone was just dating. Like everyone was just dating to figure out. She was like, I think her husband, her late husband, she went out on a double date with her friend's late husband. And, they were both on that date, but they were on the date with other people. So it was a double date, but she was dating his friend and her friend was dating him. And so, but they came home from that and she's like, we got to switch that one up. and now obviously they were married for decades. But like, it was just like, we're all just swimming around in this sea and we're going to figure it out together.
Okay, but ladies, ego-wise,
I don't think I could handle that.
That's the thing, though, because at the top of this episode, we talked about men having options on Tinder and going on different dates with women and entertaining different women. So is it okay or is it not okay?
I think it's all about intentions, and it's all like, in my opinion, I don't think men like are approaching it in the same way. They're approaching it in how many people can I hook up with? Like, how can I scratch this itch as many times as possible in a week? Women are trying to use the system, in my opinion, to their benefit, where they're saying, okay, I know I'm not the only person that this person is seeing. So like, how can I also use the system to like benefit myself. Like, I know that Josh or Tim or Derek is the person I want to be with, but I don't want to get completely wrapped up in maybe not see the flaws that they have. So I want to have all of these other options that allow me to kind of like get different things from each person while viewing this person objectively.
So would you be okay being on somebody's roster as if a guy was figuring out that same situation?
No.
I think it's about how they communicate it, though. Because if I'm doing the
I
same,
just want to know about that.
If I'm doing the same thing, then yes, that's perfectly fine.
You would want to know. You wouldn't want to know.
I would not want. So here's my thing. If I'm dating, and I'm dating, around, I'm meeting people and dating people and whatever. I'm not in a relationship with any of them, so I would expect not to be told about anything until we get to a point where we're having a conversation of like, okay, now I'd like to be monogamous and I'd like to pursue you.
And maybe you're seeing each other more.
Yes.
And
then at that point, I'd like to have that conversation. Because of my own ego, I don't want to hear about you dating other people. I don't want to hear about you meeting other people because I know it's happening.
Yeah.
I already know it's happening. Until we have that conversation, I know it's happening.
Yeah.
So, and
we don't need a play-by-play of their date with Tiffany on Tuesday when we're going out on Wednesday. It's just the open conversation of we're both actively dating.
Yeah.
This is not a closed-off relationship. And I think that's where the issue comes in is no one's able to have a conversation about that when it happens. It's just like kind of like everyone dances around the topic of what's happening until someone's feelings gets hurt.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think you can also be really respectful about it and be like, I'm taking, if you and I are going on a date and we're spending the next 5 hours together, you shouldn't be responding to texts from Stephanie and Rebecca. And
right.
Like, this is our time.
Yeah.
Respect that I'm giving you my time.
Yeah.
And honor me in this. And then when you leave, if you have a text from Stephanie, you can respond.
Right.
And if I see the text from Stephanie pop up, I'm not going to comment on it, and you're not going to respond to it.
I also think frequency has something to do with it. Like if you're seeing somebody Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, like that to me is signaling something very different than like once a week date
Yes.
that you're feeling out.
If I'm seeing you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm seeing you getting Snapchats and texts from multiple women, I'm going to have a problem.
That's, yeah.
Then I'm going to, and I think maybe that problem is part me and maybe that problem is part
like
you.
maybe
Because
you need to set a better
at that point, I need
boundary.
to say, hey, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Because if you, at this point, don't want to be monogamous, we now need to back up and only see each other
Once.
Maybe not at all.
Right.
Because if we're spending this much time together and you don't want to commit to me and just flesh this out, then let's just call it what
Right.
it is. Let's call a spade and end it right here. Okay. But when you were saying that, I was kind of thinking a little bit about Love Island. Because Love Island is kind of in a sick, deformed way that, you know what I mean? Where it's like, let's explore all our options, but let's do it in each other's faces and sleep in beds next to each other with our current fling of the week and hurt each other's feelings every day.
Okay, so I don't watch Love Island, so whatever you guys, like, what is it about?
Do you want to explain to Summer what Love Island is?
Yes. Love Island is softcore porn. Straight up reality dating show. It is so dramatic and intense, but basically they put, I don't even know how many people, 10 people, 5 boys, 5 girls in a house in Fiji.
Hot?
All
the
attractive.
Oh my God, so beautiful. The guys, mid. Literally every single guy, mid.
Actually, I completely agree with
They
this.
need to step up their men recruiting. It's brutal.
They don't have a clock. They don't have music. They don't have phones.
They're off the grid. They're literally
off
in a
the
bubble.
grid.
And basically they're open.
And they're there for a month.
They're
weird experience.
cohabitating. And they go through these challenges.
From day one, they have to couple up. So from day one, you're in a couple and you have to sleep in bed with your couple. And if you don't like your couple, you have to sleep outside. Like,
Yeah, it's
okay?
brutal.
In the elements?
Yes.
No. Well, they're in Fiji,
And
so.
the way to win the game is to get to the end and be the couple that's either the most liked and therefore voted the winner.
Because America votes.
Yes. And to stay on the show, right? Because America votes like their least favorite couple, and then you get like voted to the bottom or whatever, or like their favorite person. So, and then you get to the very end, and hopefully you're in a real couple or someone cares about you, because then from there, the couple that wins, there's like an opportunity, someone gets handed the $100,000 and they can either split it with you or tell you to go fuck yourself. So it's all like a trust game, and it's a popularity contest, and it's a love game.
There's so many layers to it that I think really came out this season, where people were like, everyone is like really in it for the money, or like in it to win it. Like, people aren't being genuine about like the relationships. They're not on it for love. I think a lot of reality dating these days is like everyone just wants to be famous. But fun fact, the guy I went to college with Caleb was on Love Island. He won Love Island.
He did.
Very funny.
That was Love Island?
That was Love Island season 2, US.
So it wasn't that big yet, right?
No, that season was like really big. I actually went back because it's like, this is a little crazy to me. So I went back and I looked, and like that was a huge season, and everyone was super invested in their couple. Yes.
Are they still dating?
Oh no. Remember all that drama came out where he like had a girlfriend the whole time? Yeah. We should get him on the episode. We should get him on the pod, dead seriously. But I remember when it was announced that he was going on the show, I texted Summer and I go, he's going to win this show. Like, because that is just like the definition of him. Like,
yeah,
he is
so true.
I don't think he's a bad person. He just knows what people want to hear and is very convincing. And unfortunately, America, you fell for it. And so did Summer, and so did I.
I didn't. Anyways, but the hard part about it is that even if you're like coupled up, unless you're what they call closed off, every single day you have to watch as your person who's in your couple like makes out with someone else in one of the games, flirts with someone else.
They're always like, exploring.
They're like, I'm going to go explore my options with, it's like, I'm coupled up with you, Summer, and you're so beautiful and wonderful, but I am going to go have a conversation with Madeline today. And then you have to sit there in the villa because we all are in the house together, and he's just on the other side of the pool flirting with Madeline in front of you. And you have to like just live with it. And if you crash out or act crazy, you're the shitty one because you didn't have a closed off conversation. So you're just the insane bitch who's like, you're a little clingy for me. But it's like, there's also the aspect of, because you're spending 24/7 with each other, you grow very close, very quick.
That's what I've heard about these shows. It's like you speed through 3 months of dating in like 1 week.
Yes. So it's all this stuff where you may take 3 weeks to become closed off, and you have to sit there and watch. And then halfway through, when you're like, I'm finally really feeling something for it, I'd like to close things off,
America votes you off.
They can?
Yeah.
And then they recouple with your best friend.
Or every time halfway through the show, they say, guess what?
New bad bomb baddie.
Yeah, bombshell comes in, whatever. But not even that. They in the middle of the game, they blindfold all the boys and pull all the girls out. And the boys think that they're going to make out with their girlfriends, and they bring 5 girls in, and they put their 5 girls they've had for the last 3 weeks into another house and introduce 5 new boys. and then you have to spend 3 to 4 days behaving yourself. And if you don't behave yourself,
exploring your connections because you don't know what your man's doing. It literally is the best example of a social experiment.
And then halfway through, they send you a 4-second video clip where he's about to kiss another girl. So you're like,
they do it on purpose.
Yeah, they fuck with you. It's a mental. They actually have a psych department that is there that you can talk to at any point in time, because
some people should talk to it more often
because it's so mentally like straining.
Wait, I would do that.
But it's such an interesting like hyper. I don't even know.
Exaggerated version of reality. It is comparable in the sense of like, you have to be really good at what you're communicating. You have to be really like honest about, are we closed off? Are we not closed off? Where are we at? Because there's so much like we just talked about, exposure to other people constantly of like, they're bringing in new girls. It's the option of, do I stick with it? Especially when they go to Casa Amor, of like, do I stick with this person? Do I stick with the person that I'm with, even though I don't know what they're doing at the other house? Like, they could be flirting with someone else and finding a new connection, but I'm trying to be loyal to them, and I have no idea that they've already moved on to someone else. Like, it's just a very exaggerated version of reality, I think, at this point. But it is in some ways like still comparable. Like at the end of the day, you don't know what the other person that you're matching with Hinge on is doing.
There's this girl. So the popular couples that came out of this situation, there's 4 women. Amaya, we call her Amaya Papaya.
I've seen Amaya Papaya. She's the sensitive one.
She's the sensitive gangster is what she calls herself. Then there's Huda, who
I've seen Huda.
They call the crash out, and people have very mixed reviews on what they feel about her. But she is like the most followed person since like leaving the villa. She jumped from like, she has like 5 million followers now, going from like less than a million before. And then there is Shelly and Olandria, and those are like the 4 popular women. And
no one cares about the men.
No one really cares about the men. We're going to not pay attention to the men. But there's a lot of issue. Like Amaya loves everybody and everybody loves Amaya. Well, since the end, they were kind of all bullies to her throughout the whole thing. And then they realized that she was the people's princess after a competition because she was bawling. Like the guys were like, "You're too not like you try to say baby."
I literally
to us
sobbed
and, like,
watching that episode.
It was like they had
Yes, because it was literally the definition of every guy that's ever told you like you're too emotional, you're too much. Like these guys were saying it to her face. They're like,
it was a challenge called Stand on Business, and everyone had to open up a mailbox that people had anonymously written things to. And the guys like bullied her and were like, "You come on too strong," and it's like embarrassing, and like
you're
and then
too
they
emotional.
all like, and then they all came forward and like actually verbally like attacked her. Not like mean, but it was mean. It was so mean, but they weren't like yelling, but they were just like, "Yeah, like I let you kiss me and I let you call me baby, but like, you know, it really makes me uncomfortable." And I don't like, and she's just got tears streaming down her face. And she's like, "Thank you for telling me, like giving me your feedback." Like, and of course the man she ended up with, he stood up for her. He was like, "By the way, like in our culture," because they're Dominican, I think. He was like, "In our culture, like calling someone baby, mi amor, mi vida, like that's just something that like we do in our culture. Like we say that to our friends, we say that to our family, like we say that to anyone we're dating." And like, because they were like, "You make us uncomfortable and you have to meet us where we're at." And he's like, "You know, you say all this stuff and like you're unwilling to meet her where she's at. Like how, and you're all saying this." And she like ran off, like, and everyone after that was like, "We love Amaya Papaya, like everyone can die in this villa," because the girls didn't even stand up for her either. Like no one said anything in her defense. It was horrible. It was horrible to watch.
I just feel like the definition of this season was like they all talked about like being girls, every one of them. And in that moment, I was like, nobody here to me is a girl's girl, because like, why are we letting this woman getting like,
I would have flipped the table,
absolutely like nailed to the cross by dudes that didn't even deserve her over something that like happened so long ago, but also like was so irrelevant to bring up. It just felt like an unnecessary pile on, where I was like, this is insane. And I think a lot of the like discourse about the season was, that all of the girls were very male centered, of like they were much more interested in the like men's perspective of them rather than like how the women were feeling about each other. And I don't know. I think it was a good reality check of where we're at in the world.
Shelly, Olandria, and Sierra wanted to be, so the season before, there were 3 women who came out as a group we now refer to colloquially, if you're a fan of Love Island, as the PPG. And they're like 3 girls who were so down for each other, and like basically like production knew that if one of them was pissed off, all 3 of them were leaving, and was just trying to basically mitigate these 3 little crash outs. But they all are still with their men from Love Island. They have their own TV show coming out from Love Island, but they were like, no. The love story is us 3. Like we also just have men.
Wait, I love that.
And they like all would crash out together. Like when any of them felt disrespected by one of them, like they all just went feral, and it was the most wonderful thing to ever watch ever, period. But this year was very clear that Olandria, Shelly, and Sierra thought that they were going to be PPG, but they were like mean. Like people
don't think they were mean.
They were. Like there was a scene where Huda turned around and was smiling at them, and she was working out, and people can have mixed reviews about Huda. This is not the point. And she was like smiling at them and like like being goofy, silly with them. And they're all like, "Oh, look at her. She thinks we're all talking about her. Like no one cares about her." But they had actively been saying not nice things, like with their men and their group. Like they were just nasty. And they all decided to gang up on her about her dating this one guy, Chris, when she actively went and communicated after they'd all been mad at her for not communicating. Like she tried. She's not the queen of right, for sure. She definitely has her own problems, but like the girls were not kind to her.
Oh, Shade and I have different opinions about this woman.
Okay, question though, like, does this reflect today's dating?
I think so.
landscape?
I think it does in like a heightened microscope.
How?
Like
It's all about like poor communication. Everyone is
temptation,
Having options.
But I
having
also
too many
think everyone is so
options.
reactive in the sense of like no one can handle any kind of criticism about like how, I mean, I'm so guilty of this, but like, and no one can handle kind of any constructive criticism in their relationship. Everyone's so afraid of that. And it's just like, it kind of comes back to the 80-20 or the 90-10 that we talked about of like, if you're not meeting me exactly where I'm at, then we just aren't a good fit. And I think there's no, in this scenario, like there was no nuance for that of like what was acceptable and not acceptable.
Do people in this show date based on their values?
I don't.
Do people talk about that? Like, hey, I value family. Hey, I value honesty. Hey, I value growth.
They apparently do. It's not really shown to
It's
us
not
on
shown.
screen. Like one of the girls in PPG, she's said on their, because their reality TV show, they're like, it's out now. And she's like, a lot of people thought we moved so quickly because they met close to the end of the show. And she was like, but they never showed any, because a lot of our conversations were
about values.
were about values and like about church and like Christ based. They never showed any of those conversations. And so she's like, people just thought we went from like 0 to 100, but they just weren't showing the conversations because the conversations were like not interesting.
Yeah.
I saw the
Quote,
same thing
unquote.
about like Shelly, Ace, Alandria, all were doing like morning worship sessions, and like none of that was shown. And not that like, I mean, I don't know if I would have watched it, but like they're creating a dramatic TV show at the end of the day. So I understand like why they're cutting certain
would
stuff.
omit that.
But in some sense, like that's
important context.
Yes, the fact that they were having these conversations. So it is tough because we're getting such a sliver of the 24 hours, 7 days a week that they're spending with each other. But I do think it is a good reflection of kind of like what's happening in the dating world, of a heightened version of how how people are crazy and how the commitment
some of the issues.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is so microscopic and intense and zoomed in on people's emotions and so heightened, and so everyone's so removed from anything other than each other. I think we are getting this like super intense version of like the issues that are happening today. And like the things that we're fascinated by, because I was a slave to this show for a month. You know what I mean?
God,
Like,
it's like a full-time job to watch. It's every day of the week, Summer.
and then you get so invested because we could argue for hours.
Yeah.
In fact, myself could argue with this one and these two in the corner for hours over what's going on.
Shada
watch
started
it.
a group chat with me and my boyfriend, and there was a point where I was like, I
stopped
had to take a
responding to
break
me.
from the show because I was so just like
Were you and Nick on the same page?
Nick and I are always on the same page. We share a brain. We're like an echo chamber with each other, unfortunately. Yeah. But like truly, I was just so frustrated with what was happening on the show. I was like, I have to take a break. And I had just recently convinced Shada to watch this season. And it was like,
And then she left me alone.
And it literally, she was like texting us constantly about it. And I'm like, bitch, I haven't watched in 3 days. I'm so far behind. I emotionally cannot like rejoin.
Is it over now though?
It's over now, yeah. But the reunion's coming. But it's so good. It's just a true American experience to experience Love Island live on national television. Like I haven't voted on a TV show since fucking like Kelly Clarkson on American Idol. I was like on my iPad. I was on my phone. I was making my boyfriend vote. I'm like, we cannot let what is going to happen. Like, again, I saw a funny TikTok about like people, the American people were trying to encourage voter suppression because they're like, they don't want teenagers voting without like a fully developed brain on who should win the show. Like it genuinely was such a like fun cultural experience to be like in the heat. I'm like, fuck these people. Like literally it was just a very fun experience. But
Did you have to pay to vote?
no, it's
No.
free.
Okay,
Come
just
on.
curious. Remember American Idol made you pay like $5?
No, I thought you just called and voted.
Yeah, I thought you just texted the number.
Yeah. It was like vote 8.
Who did I send $5 to in 2008? All right, guys. This was a really great episode about dating, about the landscape of dating apps, Love Island. Is there anything else you guys want to say to round this out?
I think we need to revert back to meeting in person, guys. Organic is the way in all things.
And everyone needs therapy.
Everyone needs therapy. We can all have our silly, goofy shows, but we all need to revert back to the organic meet and greet. All men should get rid of Instagram.
Also, I think people should have a little bit more gusto to say the worst thing that could happen is this person says, no, I'm in a relationship, or no, I'm not interested, but like go shoot your shot in person. Seriously. Shoot your shot.
Men and women.
Men and women. And catch us next time on the And Also podcast, baby. Woo!
There she goes again. Thanks, guys. We love you. Come back in 2 weeks. Bye. God bless her.
Summer.
Fucking weirdo.